Hi, everybody. This is Livia Cuddle, and I've got Brooks Gibbs here today.
Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Thank you for being on this online summit. This is the Conscious Wealth Builders, creating prosperity with your higher purpose. And I had the privilege and the honor to meet Brooks a few months ago at an event. And when I first saw you, I just walked up to you and I was just like, I have to know who you are because you just exuded so much joy, so much love. You're a person who is clearly connected, to your authentic self.
Oh,
And
well, thank you.
yeah, and so when I really got to know you and who you are, it made sense that you're someone who teaches people that. You teach people how to discover their true higher purpose in life, and you walk the walk.
Well, I definitely strive to do that every day. It's an opportunity to really be at peace and to be humble in a world that is filled with lots and lots of turmoil and chaos. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I mean, I experience that as well. And one thing that I've always searched for is what is my true purpose? And I know sometimes, in my own struggles, it always kind of comes down to the doingness of what my purpose is. And through conversations with you, it always comes back to the being,
Yes,
right?
it really is.
Yeah.
Life is lived in the moment. That the
Mm,
moment is absolutely where eternity exists because the future is always out there and the past is always behind us. The only thing that actually exists is this moment.
yeah.
And so in this moment, I choose to be. And what I choose to be is I choose to be happy.
Yeah.
And I choose to be in control of my thoughts. And yeah, in the next moment, there may be something that comes up that creates a challenge or whatever else.
Hmm.
But it's yours and my opportunity to look at it and go, well, geez, how do I choose to interact with this experience right now?
Yeah. That's really awesome. So yeah, share a little bit about, your story, and how you got to really get clear on your true purpose.
Oh, I'd love to do that. It's really kind of a fun story that begins at the beginning when I was born. I was um, I was born in a great place to a great family. I was lived in a little town called Kaysville, Utah. Now, Kaysville was a small town, probably about 4 to 5,000 family members. It was about 35 to 40 miles north of Salt Lake City in Utah. And at that time, it was really a rural community. It had big, huge farms with fields that had, alfalfa and cows, chickens, and then it also had a small town where it had a Main Street,
Hmm.
USA, literally. And there was this drugstore there, the kind of drugstore that you would walk into that had like the soda fountain bar. You'd sit up and you'd pull up to the bar stool and sit down and ask for a drink. And
Hmm.
they'd literally go over. And what they do is they would put soda water in a cup and then they would put syrup in it and stir the cup to get the syrup to mix into the drink
Oh
and
my
give you the
God.
drink. Oh, and oh, the
Mm.
best thing that they had at the soda fountain was hard ice cream shakes. None of these like Insta shakes that you get at the places you go to now. They would go over and they would open the refrigerator or the freezer and they'd scoop out the ice cream and they'd put it into these big, tall, glass, thick cups. And then they would like go get some milk and pour the milk over the top of it, put some malt, and then they put the chocolate or raspberry or strawberry syrup on the top of that. And then they go over. They had these Hamilton Beach machines that would mix the ice cream and the milk together, and they
Hmm.
jerk this thing up and down and all around, and it'd come back to you, and the ice cream would be going over the top.
Mm.
It's that place where you grew up and you went, oh my gosh, this is so cool. The other thing they had at the drugstore was it was like a child's dream because they had this shelf of penny candies.
Hmm.
And penny candies in those days were not individually wrapped. They were in glass jars, like a cookie jar. And they would be placed all along these shelves. And you could go over and grab these candies and put them into a sack and then go over and buy this candy. and penny candies, you could buy, you know, 20 or 30 candies, because you could work mowing the lawn, or actually you collect pop bottles and take them back to the grocery store, and they'd give you 5 cents a bottle. You could go buy these things. I could go and buy kites for 10 cents and fly a kite,
Yeah.
and a ball of string for 5 cents. So you'd go buy a kite and like 10 balls of string, and the whole goal was to see if you could fly the kite so far out there that you could no longer see the kite. It would
Yeah.
be so small, and then try and pull it back in.
Mm.
Those were some of the adventures that I had as a kid. So life was just beautiful. And my parents, they truly trusted, all parents trusted their kids to be able to go out and have fun and do things. So we could go out into the fields, the farms, the ponds, and just explore and use our imagination to be anywhere we wanted. There were ponds with big, huge cottonwood trees where we'd get ropes and tie ropes over the branches that hung over the top of the pond. And you'd
Mm.
swing out into the pond and drop in the pond. We'd catch fish, we'd catch pollywogs. We would go to a construction site and we would take all of the material that they were throwing away, and that was like his treasure, because we would haul it off and go build us forts and huts and all kinds of things that we would do.
Wow, that
It
sounds
was
like a
just
really cool childhood.
oh, it was. It
Yeah.
really was. And so I learned that life was beautiful. Life was exciting. It was
Mm.
fun. It was joyous. You could laugh, you could giggle, yeah, there were things that happened, but the majority of it was just fun. And
Yeah.
I grew older, went to high school, and I went to a high school where I had probably about 150 kids in my class that I went to high school with. So I literally knew everyone by name, and they knew me, and we just had fun in high school. We would go to the games, and afterwards they'd have in those days what they called a stomp, which was the dance. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
everybody would just show up, and you would just have these great times. I had a good friend called Burrhead because he had this afro, and he just had this tight curly hair, so we called him Burrhead. and and he worked out. He worked for a guy who had this big old huge farm, and in the summer he would mow the fields of alfalfa and then bale the hay. And so he had access to a tractor, and this big tractor with the trailer that bales of hay on it. We would get on this and drive about 10 miles on this tractor trailer, a dozen of us, to go to a drive-in movie and watch a movie while sitting on this hay wagon. I mean, who does that? Just those are the things that you see in movies and go, it just doesn't happen like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I learned from that, as I said, life was just wonderful. It was just joyous. Did you have moments like that in your life where you just really
Oh
felt
yeah.
like, I love life? I love the excitement. I love the joy of it. And then, gosh, I graduated from high school, and now I didn't have quite the same protective bubble around me. I was taking on the responsibility of life for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But that was okay because I was really pretty smart, I thought, and very strong and capable. So I went to school and I worked hard. I got an education, went out, got to work, and took on some responsibilities. But it was still exciting because, man, I was in control. I was moving forward. I could dominate. I could manage. Yeah, that feeling of victory. It was there. And another thing I did is I found a very special lady. Uh, that person that when you meet, your heart just kind of goes, thump, 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 and you get excited about life. And we chose to get married and begin a family. And I remember the excitement of starting a family, but that also came with the fear. Oh my gosh, now I've got responsibilities. I've got to care not only for a wife, but children. I got to provide for them. And we got to have a home and a roof and food and
Mm.
health insurance and all of those things. And so I started to feel some pressure coming on top of me. Um, and that pressure was not quite the same as what I felt earlier. But again, I felt like I was capable. And if I just worked harder, I'd get through that. You know what I mean? And I'm sure, Livy, that you've had some of those experiences in your life too. That it's like, if I just go out there and I get after it, you'll have some success, and that success will bring that excitement and that joy. And for a
Mm-hmm.
moment, it shows up, and yeah, you did something, and then you still feel a little bit like, oh, but I got to get up and go to work again tomorrow. And gosh, I really don't like my job, and or
Yeah.
I don't like the neighbors, or I don't like this. Those things
I
just
don't like the
it sort of
neighbors.
keep on you. You know what I mean? And you're going, life isn't the same dream.
Mm,
What's the purpose of this? And I started pursuing, well, maybe if I obtain more money or a bigger house or a better car, I
mm,
started looking at the things that were outside of me, or if I have more friendships or people acknowledge me for the things that I know and do, that it will bring that to me.
mm.
And sure enough, for a few moments, it would bring that joy. It's like you were really proud of it, but it didn't remain.
Yeah.
It didn't remain. I'm always, washing away. And then I went through a patch in my life when I was about 45 years old. I know I look like I'm only 30 right now, but no, I was really actually 45 years old at that time. And that was a few years ago, where my whole world just crashed. I mean, it crashed really, really bad.
Mm.
For 10 years, I had been building an awesome business with a brother. We built home theaters. I mean, we didn't just put, a TV and some sound in. We built environments,
Mm.
theaters. Awesome. And when you walked in, it was like, when you walked into this theater, you go, wow, who cares about the movie? I just want to sit here and enjoy this. I mean, we had one where we had Egyptian columns that we painted in the
Wow.
rooms. We had one where you were like in a cabin in the middle of the woods. I mean, we really built these just wild imagination things. And we had built this business over 10 years and it was going really good. And 2008 came along. And
Uh-huh.
2008 was a tough, tough year for many, many
Mm.
people. And because our business was so focused on the real estate business and primarily new construction just stopped in a matter of 30 days. It stopped. I mean, it just stopped. And because of that, our business stopped. And if anybody out there has ever owned a business, you realize that you've made commitments of purchasing items from people while you're out building and doing it and looking to collect. Well, we couldn't collect from people because they were going bankrupt and couldn't finish their
Mm-hmm.
homes. And yet we still owed money to people we had bought equipment from. And I was the type of person that I couldn't just leave them hanging.
Mm-hmm.
So we closed down the business and it literally took everything. It took
Mm.
everything that we had to pay that off. And then forced me into a personal bankruptcy.
Mm.
I paid off my vendors, but I couldn't pay other things.
Yeah.
And there were no jobs. I could not find a job. Um, and the toll of the stress of that, along with in those 3 years, my father passed away. A year later, my mother passed away. And during that time, I also had a sister with multiple sclerosis that passed away. So I lost, like, boom, 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 three
Mm.
close family members. And it was just taking a toll on my relationship of 28 years with this beautiful lady in my life. And our relationship couldn't survive it.
Mm.
And so we separated and had 5 kids. It was devastating to them. It was devastating.
Yeah.
And I chose to let them have a home that they had grown up in and stay there and me to move out. But I had nowhere to go and no way to pay for it. So I literally was homeless in the sense that I didn't have any place to live other than a room that was a 10 by 10 bedroom that my sister allowed me to live in her house. I couldn't pay her anything. For
Yeah.
2 years, I was in this mode.
Mm.
And gosh, when you go through those deep, deep things and that you lose everything that you think is your value,
Yeah.
you really get a chance to look and say, well, what am I? What am I worth? And at that point, I felt I had no worth. I don't know if you've experienced those moments in your life when you felt worthless
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and
definitely.
and so low that you couldn't reach up and touch bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And those thoughts of I don't want to live. It is too painful. It's too painful to live. Um, there were days when I literally could not roll out of the bed.
Yeah.
And nights when I would go to bed and in my heart I would plead with my creator, I cannot do another day of this. it just hurts. It hurts so bad. I can't do another day of this.
Mm,
Please just take me. Take me away from this pain. And I was hoping for what I believed a loving creator to take me away and solve this challenge for me. And Olivia, what I discovered was a greater love.
mm.
Because I now know that my creator loved me enough to let me realize that my worth was not those things that were around me. My worth came from in here.
Mm. It's beautiful.
And that was really the time that I began to discover that. So I know you've had some experiences like that as well, where you've really felt low and felt
Yeah,
challenged.
yeah,
And but then those times when you come from that, you begin to realize my value isn't that that's around me. It's that that's inside of me. And I know you shared a couple of things, and I would love to hear you share a little bit about your journey. I understand you had a
yeah,
journey where you also went through something similar.
yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because even, now and sharing authentically and vulnerably, even though I'm in action and I'm in a space of discovery and surrender, I still very much struggle with this inner battle, this identity, that we all have, this I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. And I wonder, does that ever go away? And I've been told it doesn't. It will always be there, the little voice in your head that's, I'm not good enough.
No, and it's beautiful. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. It's actually a beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can, the more that you're aware of it, the more you can train it and say, "Hey, thanks for sharing."
Yeah,
Get to a place of where it's no longer running you. You acknowledge its presence, but then you generate yourself. So, you know, um, when I was 16, my story, one of the many things that happened to me and my meaning making machine is when I was 16, my mom told me my dreams are a pie in the sky. And what I made that mean is my mom doesn't believe in me. And so from that day forward, I took on being determined to prove to her and everybody else in my life wrong and that I could make it and I could succeed in life. So fast forward, here I am, 18 years old, and I moved to Florida and I started working for a $250 million company, making, six
wow.
figures at age 18. I had
And
a
you were how old when you did that?
18, 18, 19,
Oh,
18, 19, and 20. It was
oh
that
my
was
gosh, that is amazing.
so yeah, so I had a three-bedroom house. I had, BMW convertible. I had money in the bank. I had all of these things. So you would think like, hey, she's got a great life, but deep down inside, I was miserable. I was depressed. I, like you, couldn't get out of bed, unless I was working and I had to show up. But when I would come home on the weekends, I was depressed and I was using drugs and alcohol to try to cope with the pain of not feeling worthy, not feeling on purpose, not feeling
Yeah.
connected to who I really was. And so,
And so did, oh, go ahead.
yeah, no, so fast forward, I ended up doing a course that really changed my life. And during that course, we went through how our identities get constructed. And then I saw that my mom did not say, "I don't believe in you." All she said was, "Your dreams are a pie in the sky." And what I made that mean is not what she said. And it was like one of those moments of like, I just spent the last 7 years of my life thinking my mom doesn't believe in me. What a waste and what a shocking experience when you first experience that. I remember thinking to myself, it was like Twilight Zone, do 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 do. Like what?
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
believe I was so not even conscious of that because it was so hidden from my view as a term, in this course that they use. So hidden from my view, I didn't know what I didn't know. And I didn't
yeah,
understand that I created that
yeah.
story.
Oh
That's
yeah,
actually not what my mom said. Yeah.
It is so amazing because I too went through a similar course. We talked about this before. I went through a similar course where,
Yeah.
when I started to begin to realize that if things were going to change, I had to change. I
Yeah.
had to change my thinking, my view, and it did not happen overnight. I took a course similar to that where literally
Hmm.
they were not what I would call very gentle with me. It was like if you're in a crappy place, you're the one who put yourself there.
Hmm.
And you're the one who's going to have to make different choices to get yourself out of it.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to do that, the door's over there.
Hmm.
I
Yep.
mean, it was in your face. It's like, we are not going to allow you to take the blame game and be the victim anymore.
Yep.
Because the victim of life, if you live as a victim, you will never,
Hmm.
never, ever be happy.
Definitely. So, what's really great about that discovery, Brooks, is that what I really got from that is that this identity called being determined to prove to everybody that I could make it,
Oh, yes.
literally, once I became aware of that, it disappeared. It was like, oh, okay. It disappeared for a brief moment while I was kind of in this space of discovery, like I discovered it. But then it like would pop back in. I always know when it's running the show because there's no true fulfillment present. It feels constrictive, it feels constrained, it feels like I'm
Yeah,
being determined to do.
yeah.
And so one thing they shared with us in the course is that it's never going to go away. It's always going to be there. And so this is where I come to like, so what is true purpose? Is it just really discovering who you are as an infinite being and that you can create yourself newly moment to moment? Or is there really a definite purpose for us all to fulfill, like a certain direction in life or to go to be fully self-expressed? What's your thoughts on that?
I love how you said that, a direction. So let's take that analogy for a minute and talk about it. So if you want to go on a journey and you're
Mm-hmm.
on this journey, you want to go somewhere, you have to pick a direction.
Mm-hmm.
You have to follow a direction or you will never get. I mean, it's kind of like, the Cheshire Cat in Alice in Wonderland. Hey, well, which way should I go? Well, where do you want to go? Well, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Then it doesn't matter what you choose. It's a direction. And so finding a purpose doesn't necessarily tell you exactly what your daily activities will be, but it tells you the direction of which you are moving and whether your daily activities are congruent and in harmony with taking you that direction, or if they are not in harmony, you're going to feel out of sorts. It's going to
Mm.
pull you back. It becomes a compass. The early explorers followed the North Star so that they could set a direction. They could know that this is the direction that I want to go. And as they explored, they didn't know the new lands that they were going to see. They just knew the direction.
Yeah.
And they would discover along the way. And as they would discover, they would have to make, veer to the left, to the right, to the east, to the west, whatever. But they always came back to following the North Star.
Mm.
So in their daily actions, they would have to negotiate the things that happened in their life, but they would come back to the North Star to realign and say, okay, I've gotten a little bit off course. I need to realign and follow my course back to the direction.
Yeah.
And if they didn't, they felt like they were retreating away from where they
Mm.
wanted to go. And that's really, for me, what I've experienced finding your purpose is it doesn't guide me in what I do every day. It guides me in the direction of where I want to go. And so
Mm.
that's why I think it's so important to find that purpose. And so, can I share with you a little bit of how I discovered that for me?
Well, yeah, how you discovered it and then how the viewers can discover it for themselves.
Great, because even after I went through this course, which really kind of got in your face, it was like, okay, well, what does that mean? Because I still had three core questions that just really pierced me, and I think they pierce everybody. And those questions were, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I here? And what am I supposed to be doing to move forward with purpose?
Mm,
Those were questions that I could be busy every day. I could be busy doing things, but if those things didn't align with who I am, why I'm here, and where I'm going, then
mm-hmm.
all it did was frustrate me. And so once I realized that I had those three questions, I thought, I got to figure out how to answer those questions. I really have got to figure out how to answer those questions.
Mm,
And the discovery process was really kind of simple, and yet it took a lot of effort to happen. The simple thing to answer the question of who am I was as simple as just taking a journal and starting to write, I am, and then start to write what I felt.
mm,
And so I started to write, well, I am a kind man. I am a man who loves to help others. I am powerful when I choose to follow the things that I want to do. I am committed. I would just write these sentences over and over and over and over again. I had pages of these sentences of what they were. And they came from my heart, not from my head.
mm. So
Because what I
important.
did is I began to realize I would write words that felt good to me here.
Mm-hmm.
They harmonized with what was here. They made me feel like, yeah, that's really what I feel. And as I wrote those down, and then I would go back and look at them, I would read through. I began to notice a pattern of about 4 or 5 words that repeated over and over and over. There was, dozens and dozens of sentences that I wrote, but there was this pattern of words:
Mm-hmm.
love, power, kind, gentle. Those were words that just repeated. So I highlighted them. I went, well, now that's really curious. I
Mm-hmm.
use those quite often. I wonder what that would happen if I were to take those words and just condense them down into one sentence. And
Mm-hmm.
what that condensed down for me was, I am a powerful, passionate, kind, and loving man. And as I wrote that down and I read that to myself, as I say it right now, it resonates. It warm. My whole body becomes warm
Mm.
with the acknowledgement that that is who I am. That's who I am. That's my spirit. My body is a part of what gives me this experience in this mortal world that we live in. But my essence, the very essence of who I am, is a powerful, passionate, kind, and loving man.
Mm. Gosh, even as you're declaring that, and I'm seeing that you're moved by declaring that is who you are, I'm now in a space like I could feel my spirit
Yeah,
activate.
yeah. I
So
call it
it's
finding your
almost,
super suit.
yeah, well, you're declaring your purpose out loud to me got me to feel my purpose.
Yes.
So that transformative energy.
Oh yeah, it's like that harmony of chords on a guitar that when you strum one and it's in harmony with the other, then it will start to vibrate too.
Yeah.
Because it's that harmony of when I discover, state, and own my purpose,
Mm,
it resonates with you. It's like, have you ever been to let's say you go to a concert or a party or somebody's house and someone walks in the room and you don't know them, you've never met them, but you look at them and you go, wow, there is something about that person that they know. They're confident. They're not cocky. They're confident. They know who they are. They know where they're going and they know what they're doing. And it's just like you're drawn to them.
like you. When I first met you, that's
Oh,
exactly my experience of when I first met you. That's exactly how it was. Yeah. So I get
but
it.
that's really, when you get that, and I call it your super suit because what's funny is, we have all of these movies and things that we watch where people like, to get this coat of armor or this suit that they wear that's going to make them powerful and strong. And it's this super suit. We look for it in our lives as individuals all the time. And we think it's something outside of us that we're going to find and we're going to put on and we're going to
Yeah.
wear, whether it's my hairstyle or my makeup or my jewelry or my wallet that's filled with money or the car that I drive. Those are the things that we think give us power and strength.
Mm.
But guess what? They disappear.
Yeah.
They disappear. And when you own who you are, and you can state that out loud, it doesn't matter what anybody else says, does, or holds in front of you. When you hold that purpose, there is nothing that will move you from it.
Mm, it's so
And when you
powerful.
can be in that space of knowing that you are who you are, and you choose to be it, you choose to be it
Yeah.
in every moment, that is a power that no one can take from you. They may be able to physically control you, but they cannot control your spirit and your
Mm.
knowing of who you are.
That's
They
really
can't.
beautiful. So let me ask you, we're 30 minutes into this interview, and I really want to give the viewers, now this is great. I want to give the viewers like an experience of how they can hear what you're saying, be inspired, but what are some steps of actions that they can take right now watching this that can give them access to their true purpose and discovering that?
You know what? It's really, really simple. And I can give you the key in 2 words.
Okay.
I am.
I am.
If anyone out there who's listening to this in this very moment, I mean right now, will just say the words, I am, and just pause for a minute. Just pause and feel. Don't think, but feel with your
Yeah.
heart and let the words come out that come from your heart.
Yes.
It may be, I am, I'm amazing. I am very creative. I am strong. I am kind. I am loving. I am beautiful. When they start to feel that emotion and don't be soft and gentle. Oh, I am kind.
Yeah.
I'm nice. Own it.
Yeah.
Own it. Stand up. Lift your chin up. Put that chest out. Take a deep breath and say, I am amazing. I am. I feel it. I know I am. Right now, do that.
Yeah.
And I will
Yeah.
guarantee you will feel the power surge within your whole body.
Well, even right now, Brooke, so I visualize myself right now as the visual because I'm a visual person. And as I'm sitting here just doing these mantras in my head silently, I'm like, I am powerful, I am confident, I am loving, I am joyful, I am passionate. I can see myself on stage because I'm a speaker as well, right?
Yes.
Being that powerhouse, being a space of love and just such infinite love that there's no doubt, there's no fear, there's no anxiety. All there is just my beingness and my contribution to people. So this is so
And
powerful. And you know what? It's so simple. It's so simple. What I'm present to right now is it's so simple, Brooks, that my mind overcomplicates it.
yep, it's very true. And the part of what is interesting and what does make it a challenge is what we talked about earlier is that the moment is the only thing that exists.
Mm,
And so keeping the moment active
yes,
is
keeping the
what
moment active.
is really the opportunity.
So how do you keep
So
the moment active, Brooks?
so it's for me, what I do is I recognize the minute my energy, my emotions, my thoughts start getting jumbled up because the day happens. The tire goes flat on the freeway. I run out of gas on the way home. I'm late to get to an appointment. I mean, the day happens.
Yeah.
And so as the day happens, the energy level starts to come, and I start to notice myself going from this to this. And I consciously
Yeah.
recognize that, wow, I'm in that mode. It's time for me to kickstart and recognize that my circumstance does not dictate my emotion.
Mm,
I choose into it. And so literally I will state out loud my mantra of I'm a powerful, passionate, kind, and loving man. And there may be times when I will step outside of the car and I will scream it. I am a powerful, passionate, kind, and loving man. My purpose is to create harmony, peace, and love. And that
that's awesome.
literally
I love that.
that pushes away those
Hmm.
negative feelings because they'll change. The
Yeah.
tire will get fixed. I'll get gas in the car eventually. If I miss the appointment, the world didn't stop.
Yeah.
But I begin to recognize I'm not going to live in the negative energy. I'm going to choose to change my energy by
Yeah.
stating those power messages.
Wow. So
And
that,
you had,
mhm.
go ahead. No, go ahead,
Well,
and then
no,
I'll
so
answer.
what I'm committed to implementing is I'm going to write a list tonight of I ams, and I'm going to have it in front of me. And in those moments of doubt or fear or what have you, I'm going to do like this power move and declare my I ams. Because,
Oh
I
yeah,
get the power in that. So powerful.
yeah, and it is so important for you to say it out loud
Yeah.
and to act it, to literally get your whole body and everything into it. And the words, the power of the word is so powerful. You
Yeah.
can think it, but when you say it and you say it out loud, you declare it to every element of your body and to all the elements that are around you. You declare who you are and how you are to be treated.
Yeah.
And they will honor that because they know it to be true.
That's really great. And you know what? One thing I do know, okay, so playing devil's advocate here, right? So, like, I could be someone who would say, well, but if I don't really truly feel like I'm a loving person and I'm declaring I am loving and I'm not believing it, is it going to make a difference? I mean,
Hmm. That is a great question because there are times, like for me, when I had gone through that, I felt like I had no value. And so it was difficult to work through that. But what I had to recognize for me is I had to get calm in the moment and I had to just stop doing my thinking
yeah,
and do my feeling.
yeah,
And when I recognized that I started to feel that, yeah, I felt worthless, but the reality is those were my words that were going through my head.
mm-hmm,
When I really stopped, I knew that I had value. I knew I had.
mm,
What my head was wanting to say is, but you want everyone else to recognize it and acknowledge it to you.
mm-hmm.
And the first person that I had to really get to acknowledge it was me.
Yeah, I get that.
And it won't come immediately overnight. It can come quicker as you begin to do it. But the first person that you get to please in your life is you. And you
Mm-hmm.
get to learn to love yourself for who you are. And I actually I had a before I started doing those declarations, I'm going to share something with you, okay?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to offer a CD at the end of this that walks people through this whole process.
Beautiful.
Comes in
Okay,
a workbook
great.
that they can work through, and
Beautiful.
it talks about this whole process that they can do that. And there's something in that CD because there's a step that I kind of skipped. When I was in that mode where I was feeling worthless and feeling like I was a victim,
Yeah.
I got mad. I got angry. And I wrote a statement, what I called, I claim my divine worth. And it was literally, I was chastising myself
Yeah.
for basically believing that I did not have value and that my value was dictated by the circumstances that I was in.
Mm,
And you'll get that. I claim my divine worth. I am not the circumstances that I'm in. I'm not. That's just a choice and a result that's happened that's teaching me a lesson.
oh, that's so
It's teaching me a
beautiful.
lesson, and now I can learn
Mm,
the lesson, and I can be more of who I am. It's like I'm this stone, boom, this beautiful, beautiful granite stone,
yeah.
and I have what's called experience as the
Mm,
sculptor that sees inside of this stone the perfectness of my divine nature. And so experience begins to chisel away all of the things that I am not to reveal the beauty of who I am.
I love
And
how
so
you said
each,
that. Chipping away. Because we're
yes, that's
already perfect,
exactly
whole,
what
and
the experience
complete.
of life is.
Yeah.
It's painful to chip away at stuff.
Mm,
because we have literally cemented ourselves inside of this so that we could learn the fullness of who we are by chipping away who we are not.
yeah.
And what happens is each of our experiences that, for me, what I learned is the experiences that I go through, going, oh my gosh, how could I have made that choice? I step back out and go, wow, I'm learning a lesson from that. I am
Hmm.
not that choice, and I won't make that choice again. I'm not. It doesn't resonate with me. So thank you for that experience.
Mm.
Now I'm on to the next one. And not dwell in the moment of, oh, woe is me. I can't make a right decision. I can't do anything right. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, okay, I've learned that lesson. It's not, you know what? It's like nature is an amazing teacher to us. Can I
Yes.
share just a real quick story of something?
Yeah,
The,
absolutely.
for all of you out there, have you ever, as a kid or anybody else, or seen somebody kick an ant hill and the ants literally just go, oh my God,
I know when I was little,
destroy
I
them.
definitely did
They
that.
literally they go bonkers. What's happened? My world is just falling apart.
Yeah.
But within a matter of just a few minutes, they are back, organized, moving, rebuilding their anthill. And if you come back the next day, it's almost rebuilt to where it was before. And it's because the ants don't sit there and claim victimhood. They don't sit
Mm,
there and go, "Oh, let's get a group together and let's go find out what happened and let's create a law that says people can't kick the anthill anymore and let's find out how bad this person was." It's like, "Hey, it happened. Let's get busy. We got things to do."
yeah.
They don't sit there in the world outside of us. The animals and plants and bugs that don't spend time, thinking about how wrong it was. It's like, okay, what's next? Let's get forward. And if we can begin to put that in our own life so that we don't dwell
Mm.
on things that prevent us from taking a step forward, we'll move forward a lot faster.
Wow, that's so awesome. And I love how you share stories, because it allows people to be able to see, really relate. I feel like we relate to stories, and like, for
Yes.
instance, in the Bible, it's the parables, and
Yeah.
there's great teaching that,
I think we have lost the art of storytelling
yeah.
because and whether you're quote unquote religious or not, all of these what I'll call books of wisdom that
Hmm.
come from leaders of ancient history to modern history, they really tell stories that help us understand how to live our daily life.
Yeah.
Whether it's in biblical terms or in the Quran or else, there's stories. And I don't know whether they're all true or not, but they tell a
Hmm.
principle that if you look at the principle, it can teach you something in your life of how you ought to live. If you look at just
Hmm.
nature, a tree is an amazing thing. If we were all more like a tree, we would all be a lot more happy. Now, you say, what do you mean, like a tree? Well, a tree roots itself into the earth. It knows what it is and it's firm in who it is. I know that I am a tree. I know I'm a pine tree and I'm rooted here and I'm going to stay here. And
Yeah.
my roots, I'm going to sink deep and I'm going to stay firm. Because who I am, I'm going to draw the nutrients of what's around me to support who I am. So that tells me that in our life, we get to root who we are firmly in our daily life so that
Yeah.
we can be firm. But then the tree does spends every day stretching to be the fullness of its potential.
Yeah.
I want to stretch and I want to grow and I want to experience. And stretching, if you look at the outside of a tree, it stresses the tree. The bark is not always smooth. It pops and it cracks because it's stretching and it's growing. In our life, we strive to stretch every day to be the best that we can. And stretching does take energy and effort, and sometimes it hurts, but it's the growing. So every day, be
Mm.
the fullness of your purpose, just like the
Beautiful.
tree does. And then the tree's got all these branches that are out there. And when the wind comes, the branches will move and sway so that it doesn't break, which tells me that in our daily experience, we need to be flexible with how we move with the things that are going on, people we meet, things that we do. I don't have to change my roots to allow me to be flexible with my environment.
Mm,
And if we were all a little bit more like that, wouldn't we find greater joy, greater peace, and greater happiness? You can be firm in your roots. Your roots don't have to be mine. But as we sway in the wind, we can allow each other the flexibility to be who we are.
that's really beautiful, and I love that visual. It's really great.
So,
So cool.
so, you know, again, I think we're coming close to the end. I haven't checked the time, but
Yeah, we're 45 minutes in, so let's just kind of wrap up. I'm so honored to have you here. And Brooks, you're such a gift in my life and to many people around you.
thank
And
you.
I know the difference that you make. I mean, you're so grounded in who you are, and it's just really awesome to be in your space always.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Likewise. It has been an amazing journey that we have shared over the past 4 months, and I look forward to great things in our future. My experience of you, Olivia, is you have gone through your journey and you are discovering much of who you are by who you are not. But I have seen your heart. I have been around you, and I know that you are committed to Conscious Wealth Builders as a business. But really, what you're committed is to being conscious in how you live,
Hmm.
how you show up, and being a light that opens the pathway into the darkness for others to follow in being conscious about loving ourselves, our body, our planet, and each other.
That's awesome. That's
And in
totally
so
me.
doing, and in so doing, creating the flow of things through our lives that bring consistent joy.
Yeah.
That's who you are.
Thank you.
And I've seen that.
Thank
So
you
it's been
so
an
much.
honor and a privilege for me to work with you over the past few months to make this happen. And the summit is an amazing tool, which is a way of being able to spread that message to others.
Yeah.
And if I might just take a minute in this summit, for those of you who are out there who are living a life and you're just trying to figure out where do I go and what do I do, listen to the experts that have been in this summit.
Mm.
They have come from a wide variety of places. I mean, I've been present to probably 90% of them,
Yeah, you
and
have.
I have learned so much from each one. This summit, just this summit alone, if you can get the recordings of this, and I highly hope that what you do is record and sell these, because they are invaluable. The lessons that are taught in here,
Yeah.
I know that if people were to take these and listen to them and take the principles and things they're taught in them and embed them into their life of how they live, it would change their world so dramatically by just following the things that are in there. It would be well worth any price because the
Awesome.
wisdom of these people that have been here has been amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Not only the wisdom, but
Yeah.
the
Definitely.
genuineness of the heart of these individuals. And some of them have had hardships and some of them have had, great expenses. But when we learn from that and take that in our life, that's the value and journey of life. You can't take anything with you that you accumulate other than the experience and the knowledge that you gain. And the knowledge and experience of literally hundreds of years of experience from wise people you have captured.
Yeah. Definitely.
That is powerful.
Thank you so much, Brooks. Make sure you folks click the link below, get your free gift, the
Yep,
seed.
and the link, it would be Brooks, Brooks 2020. That's so you got perfect vision.
I love that. That's so clever. Awesome. And we're going to post the link below as well. So make sure you click
Great.
that, get your free gift. Thank you again so much, Brooks. It's such an honor. Thank
You
you.
too. Absolutely love you, Olivia. Love it. And I look so forward to working on one of those retreats where we get to go and do some soul searching and find our purpose together with many of those individuals who are out there. I know. Keep following this lady because it's going to be a powerful and fun adventure.
It sure is. We'll keep everybody posted of that as well.
All
Thanks
right. Take
again,
care.
viewers.
I love you.
Definitely sending love and light to the planet, and we really just hope that you got tremendous value out of this. Brooks has been a huge gift to my life and has been a huge resource for me. So make sure you click the link below, get your free gift, and start doing the work that it takes to discover who you are and your true purpose. Take care.
Love everybody. Bye bye.